Got a package today, cute Halloween sticker. Let's make something with what's inside this package. I got a thank you card and I got some shampoo base. We're going to make good use of this, and I also got a couple of fragrance oils. So let's see what I can make with all of this. The usual disclaimer, pause to read. So I've been asked to do some more beginner-friendly formulas on here. So here's a nice one for a simple shampoo bar using Stevenson's Crystal Solid Shampoo Base. You could also use Cinder Pour if you wanted, but I prefer this one because it contains aloe vera and conditioning additives. This means all we need to do is add fragrance and colour to our bars. You can add other things if you wish, but the total additions must not go over 2%. The reason for this is because the base has been formulated with a preservative and they've calculated that an additional 2% of ingredients is stable. If you add over this, you risk the product not being preserved properly or changing its texture, stability or effectiveness. To make this, I purchased the base and fragrance oils from Soak Rochford, as you saw at the beginning of this video. It's not a sponsored video, they don't know I'm making this. I am, however, an affiliate. The links in my bio and blog will take you to the relevant ingredients to make these bars, and therefore you can also use my code RAVIGA5 to get 5% off your first order. Their shipping is also super fast too, see? Anyway, on with the making, and I hope you enjoy this formula. Right, so here's everything you need. You don't even need to join my Patreon in order to get this formula. It's all free, so I'll put that in the description for you. You just need to click down. So we've got our base, we have our colour and our fragrances, a couple of jugs, some scales and a cutting board, because the first thing we need to do is cut up our soap base so that we can melt it all down. What I've decided to do is split fragrance bars, but you can do just one fragrance if you like. I'll explain how I'm doing both. So in total, I have 490 grams of the Stevenson's soap base. That's 98% of your recipe. And I'm dividing that into two, so I can have two different colours and scents. And so each jug here is going to weigh 245 grams. You want to make sure whatever jug you're using is heat safe, because we're going to be either microwaving this or putting it in a water bath in order to melt it. You can microwave Stevenson's bases, they do say you can do this. I recommend doing it in 30-second bursts. How long it will take to melt will very much depend on the power of your own microwave, but you don't want to overheat it, so as soon as you stir it and it's fully melted, you are done. Take it out and it should look a little bit milk-like. Just give it a stir, make sure everything is fully melted. Now, because I've split mine in two, I'm going to make one of these a purple colour. So I'm going to put this on the scale and then weigh out my mica powder. Now you only need the tiniest amount. The mica is quite heavy, so if you use too much, you end up with a speckled effect that sinks. So I'm only using 0.1%, which equates to 0.5 grams here. You could possibly use less, it's up to you, and then just make up the rest with your fragrance oil percentage. Remember, percentages always add up to 100, which is why we do a formula in percentage and then we convert it to grams. If you want to know how to convert formulas into grams, then I have a video linked below. So we'll let that colour sit for a minute while we use our first fragrance oil, which is Pacific Coconut from Soak Rochford. It's a very vanilla based coconut scent. It's really, really nice. And we're going to add 4.75 grams to 1/2 of our mix, and that is 0.95%. We're using 1.9% total of our fragrance oil. So as you see, I've split that in half. So the right amount of fragrance oil is going in the right amount of base. Mix that up really, really well. And then we can pop our fragrance oil in our purple batch, and that's going to be our blueberry jam fragrance, which works really, really well with the Pacific coconut. And again, we're adding 0.95%, which works out at 4.75 grams. I should have noted in the beginning, I'm doing a 500 gram batch here, which should fill the mould that I showed you in the beginning in its entirety, which makes you about 6 bars. So we're adding that, and then we need to stir those really, really well, and then we're ready to pour. Obviously, if you just wanted 1 scent, add the same scent to both batches, but in the same quantities I've done. If you just want 1 scent and 1 colour, this can all just be done in 1 jug. I'm just trying to make it a little bit more interesting. So they're done. Let's get our mould and start pouring. And what I'm going to do is do some half and half, and then also 1 of each. And these jugs are really good for it. You can get them from Amazon, and they're also quite good for pouring wax melts and things like that. Just make sure you're pouring this while it's still liquid. You'll see in the next one I've got a few lumps where it started to get a bit of a skin on it and started to set up. It doesn't matter too much, it just might affect your design a little bit. So pour those in, fill all the moulds to the top as best as you can. And then what we'll do is we'll spritz it with some isopropyl alcohol just to get rid of any bubbles as much as we can if it hasn't already set on us. And then leave them to set for, well, depending on how warm or cold your area is, you probably want about 30 minutes to a few hours. So we'll come back and see them when they're fully set. Okay, so here we are about an hour later. It's quite cold in my kitchen, but these feel pretty rock solid, to be honest. The backs aren't that pretty. I probably should have poured a little bit sooner before it started hardening. I'm sure there's something you could do about that, and it would just take a bit of practice. But they've come out really beautifully on top. They're so smooth, which is very, very different to normal formulated from scratch shampoo bars, which you have to press and are normally quite lumpy and bumpy. But anyway, these look quite good. I quite like the patterns and how they've come out. They smell delicious, although please don't eat them. And yeah, I think now what we need to do is obviously the foam test, because you're going to want to see how these lather. So we'll try it with my hands first, my lovely old hands. So here we go. This is how it foams just on my hands. This is cold water. You'd obviously use warmer water in the shower unless you're strange. So here you go. You can see it bubbles quite a lot just on my hands. So let's try it with some extension hair. Being a hairdresser, I always have some random hair lying about. And yeah, so you can see it foams and lathers really, really beautifully on the hair. And the hair feels really smooth and silky, and it doesn't tangle, and it feels quite nice. It would obviously still benefit from a conditioner, but it feels a lot better than the Cinderpore did when I tried that a while back. So I do prefer this shampoo base, and of course you could add other conditioning additives to it if you wanted. You just need to make sure they're in that 2% bracket. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with this. It's a very easy project to do at home as a DIY crafter, or even if you're a small business that primarily uses bases and things. And it's a very good entry level product if you want to start formulating cosmetics yourself. Like I said earlier, the formula is free today, and it's included in the blog post that is on my free Patreon tier, which you can go and join for free, as the name suggests. And also the formula will be in the description of this post. So go check those out, and until next time, I will see you later.